So what we're looking at right now is organization on the thesis sentence level, which is really the sentence level, but we're focusing on our thesis because it is the most important sentence in our essay. So for a proposal, you'll have a sentence. Remember that I said you needed to have 3 components in that sentence. So you need to have something that people are doing, who should be doing it, and why. So if you look at my sample sentence, everyone seeking a college education should consider attending a community college first in order to get the most reward for the cost. You see that I do have those 3 components that I asked you for. And if you look at that sentence, the way that I can arrange those 3 components, there's a lot of different ways I can do that. But I want to think about what's going to be the most effective one. So if you look at any sentence, or actually any piece of work, a paragraph, an essay, it's the same. The most emphasis comes at the end. So if you're looking at the end of something, that is what it leaves in your head, that last idea. So as written, the sentence, the part that's yellow here, is the part that gets the most emphasis. Now the second most emphasis is at the beginning. It's also a border, but it's not the very last thing you hear. So the blue portion here would be the most emphatic part of this sentence. And if you look at the middle, that is downplayed. That is the part that is not emphasized. So if you think about your thesis sentence, you want to leave the reader with a very strong opinion, with a very strong feeling for what you want to argue. So one example would be a sentence like, marijuana ought to be legalized because of its many medical benefits despite some potential harmful side effects. That would be a terrible sentence if you're actually arguing for the legalization of marijuana or even just medical marijuana, because you've left people emphasizing that part about the potential harmful side effects. You say it a different way. Marijuana ought to be legalized for medical uses because despite some potential side effects, it has many medical benefits. And now you have emphasized that last part, which is medical benefits, and you've buried that part about potential side effects in the middle. So that's just a brief example of what that looks like. Now, as I said, I can rewrite my thesis with my 3 components. I can put them in different orders. You notice some of these do sound a little bit awkward. Maybe I could rewrite them if I decide that's what I want. But each of these is emphasizing something different. And I'm not going to read all these 5, 6 total versions to you. What I'm going to ask you to do is think about in your argument, what is the most important thing? Now, I have a ranking here for mine that puts the reason first, the action second, and who should do it third. Yours may be different. So when I looked at mine, I decided my reason, which is getting the most reward for the cost, is the most important thing, partly because I think that will get a lot of attention. The action itself, going to a community college, I think is also very important. And who should do it, I feel, is not necessarily something I need to emphasize. It almost goes without saying that only people who are looking for a college education should choose community college over a university instead of people who already have a degree or don't want a degree or something. So my who, not important. Your who might be important. Maybe it's an audience that's not usually asked to do that task. Or maybe you just want to emphasize it. So you have to look at yours and see what is the most important, what is the second most important, what is the least important. I've rewritten my thesis then to reflect my order. So starting at a community college is a good way for those who seek a college education to get the most reward for the cost. All right, I've got my emphasis where I want it. And you can rewrite yours then to put the thing that is the most important at the end of the sentence so it is really driven home. And keep in mind this is a classically structured argument, so it will also be at the end of a paragraph, so give a lot of emphasis there. The thing that is the second most important at the beginning, and then whatever is least important, bury it in the middle.